Hello, everyone. My name is Sandeep Parikh. I'm a partner with Ernst & Young. I lead the intelligent automation and the artificial intelligence practice at EY. I also am the author of a book called Automation Conundrum. A technological revolution is underway, and it is very subtly but quickly changing the way work gets done. In my view, this is a good thing. And with an aging population in several developed and developing economies actually as well, we are in dire need to find alternate ways to get work done, either through automation or human labor, by repurposing them from what they are doing, which is non-intelligent as of now. This revolution, while much needed, is altering relationships between enterprises, employees, and customers. In fact, it is impacting the entire human race in more ways than one. Just that the entire impact is not really visible yet. It has already changed the way we search the internet. For example, we talk about Cortana, OK, Google, Series of the world, the way we bank with robo-advisors in the front office, to the way a doctor really improves and administers medicine with all the IoT devices, artificial skins, AI-led X-ray diagnosis solutions, etc. Now, all these technologies are, needless to say, making us smarter and pushing the globe towards an intelligent bot economy. But what makes this transformation appealing also makes it potentially dangerous. Think about the distributed denial of services attacks or the DDoS attacks carried out by bots some times ago, or even the cryptocurrency theft and their use in trade of illegal drugs, chemicals, terror funding, etc., etc. It is imperative we understand the impact of this revolution, design policies and regulations to be able to exploit this digital revolution safely, carefully, and entirely, and at the same time enable the human race to plan, adopt, manage, change, and minimize negative impact to us in the form of large-scale job or skill redundancies that it may bring with it. Seldom in a lifetime do we encounter a change of this magnitude. Since the Industrial Revolution, this is probably the biggest transformation that most likely will lead to a transformation and disruption of the way work gets done, and one that has the power to impact the entire human race. The retail industry is no exception. To talk about this and more, I have the pleasure of having with me Mr. Sandeep Jabbal, my namesake, who's the Vice President of Information Technology for Jubilant FoodWorks. Welcome, Sandeep. Welcome to our show.
Thanks, Sandeep.
Okay, Sandeep, let's dive straight into the topic of automation. There's a lot of hype around automation, saying that, this is going to replace humans, right? And it will diminish the retail workforce over time. Would you agree, or would you disagree with this, and why?
I very clearly disagree with this, because this is not a new phenomenon. Automation, we've seen various generations of automation. When machine came, people were worried that machines are going to replace people. That didn't happen. People moved to higher valued jobs. You grow up the value curve. That's how, machines are replacing. Machine takes on the monotonous jobs, the repeatable jobs. The advantage of machine is that, you get consistent quality, you get lower costs, you free human people from the dangers of working on the machines. That happened in the Industrial Revolution. Now come to the computer age, or the kind of automation that has been happening, let's say, over past 2 decades. First came the business process management and that kind of automation of the systems. Now we are talking an area of business process outsourcing, or a back office, where a human used to listen to a customer, analyze the problem, and give a response. Now that that has become a repetition, because you listen to something, you look at data, you answer to a consumer, and you close the call. This is a repetition. This repetition, when a human gets out of it, a machine takes over or a bot takes over, human being automatically moves to the next level of a value add job, and we grow up the value curve. That's my take on this.
I think very well said, Sandeep. I fully agree with you. Over the years, the consumer mindset has completely evolved and changed. Today, the consumer wants so much more. and particularly personalized and an experience that is completely to his or her taste, right? Throw some lights on the trends you are seeing, particularly across the retail industry, so that we and the audience can understand this changing consumer mindset a lot better.
Right. Now the whole world has shrunk into a digital, container called mobile. And that mobile space has become crowded with the new apps, new innovations coming daily. And human mind has to, grab attention of the most intriguing app or the most rewarding app or the most important app. So today, if you were to ask me and retain one app, I would retain WhatsApp. So because I clearly know I can't live without it. For somebody, it could be Facebook. For somebody, it could be a certain more useful app, which is catching his attention, his mind spend. Now the thing is that two things are important. Why do people like or certain apps become important to people? A, it is personalized. It's personalized and it's catering exactly to the requirement, and you don't have to struggle to find information. You are able to get what you want because that information is based on your past behavior. That information is what next likely you're going to order. So personalization is most important. Second thing is frictionless. Because when you're on mobile, a lot of things are happening. You're getting calls, you're getting SMS, and if you're able to get your work done in a frictionless manner, next, use the single hand, single thumb. We just want to work with one thumb and just get it done. And I'm sure that thumb is going to be replaced by voice in coming few months or years. So personalization and frictionless are two key criteria which will define a consumer experience and make a brand stand out with others crowded in that space.
I think very well said, Sandeep. I also tend to agree that personalization and this frictionless, a very smooth interaction is going to be one of the key trends that are kind of going to continue and define how consumers really engage with brands or with retailers. Do you have some specific use cases or examples in mind that have helped brands and retailers grow from strength to strength?
I'll take two examples. There are two different industries. For a retail, let's say, if I am looking for any particular shirt or T-shirt, and the app knows my size because of my past purchases. And if my size is out of stock for a particular style, that style should not show up in the search at the top. That would be the first thing, because ultimately I'm going to get disappointed when I try to place an order because my size won't be available. So simple things like knowing your customers and applying it to search or discovery of the product. Tender type that the payment mode that I've used in the past should always come on the top in the order of my usage. The kind of discounts I like should come in the list of discount or the discount carousel very first. So that the thing I'm most likely to press should appear first, so that click, 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 and I'm done. The second part, let's take example of, let's say, a QSR industry, food industry. If you know that I have never ordered a non-vegetarian burger or a pizza in past 2 years, why to show that up in my screen at the very top, veg, non-veg? Why do I start with the non-veg? Because I've not ordered, I'm most likely going to order a veg only. So show me the veg menu and take the non-veg menu down. Similarly, my preferences would be that every time I've ordered, let's say, a cold drink with my order, and this time I forgot, why not pop it up and remind me, hey, you forgot something, you always have been ordering this, why don't you add this and maybe combine it with 10 rupees off. You got the customer, you got the deal, and just check out. So use the data, use the click habits of the consumer, use a lot of product analytics on your mobile app, and design better experience which is personalized to that consumer. Now I've grown up learning segment consumers into different 6, 7, 8 pockets. Now every consumer is a segment, because he or she is going to display a uniqueness, and you can get that uniqueness from the data, the clicks, purchase history, and a lot of other things. Collect the data from social websites, so you can combine and create a unique segment for a unique customer, and that's what is going to differentiate between the brands for a consumer.
I think well said. So So, do you believe that these new age technologies, which are the emerging technologies, led by robotic process automation, machine learning, NLP, NLG, what we now call intelligent automation, can actually help retail redefine approaches towards consumers in a big way? Or is it only going to be mobile? Do they need to do something with these technologies as well?
Well, definitely, these technologies are going to first thing help me or any brand to process the large amount of data into meaningful actions. And when I say actions, not the Monday morning reports which are going to be actioned throughout the week. These actions are instant. So a consumer comes up with a query on your chatbot that I have a problem with this order, selects the product, and on the basis of the consumer profile that you already have in the background, you're able to instantly resolve the issue by either issuing a discount voucher or by doing a refund or by offering a replacement, because this is my high frequency or my prime customer, so I can instantly take and he has a good history of not making returns. So the bot can take the decision there and then, instant gratification. That's what customers are looking for. All the big boys of this startup world like Uber, all these big players, Swiggy, these are offering these kind of functionalities, and you are able to do that by using these technologies. If you are able to translate what the consumer is typing or speaking into a question that a computer can understand, look up the data and provide an instant answer and resolve the query. So behind the scenes, all the artificial intelligence, machine learning, NLP, all is working in tandem to provide that consumer experience, that too without a human involvement for now.
Right. I think, and you bring up a very good point, which is something that I wanted to ask you next, which is, in my book, Automation Conundrum as well, I've mentioned that data is the new oil of the current revolution. And that is how the journey is going to really progress. You spoke about the importance of data. Can you share with the audiences, what are a couple of those stepping stones around having the right kind of data strategy? For example, should they just jump into straight away having data warehouse? Because most of these QSRs typically have multiple systems, multiple environments. They've kind of also grown through acquisition, so therefore newer systems. Can you talk a little about the approach towards data warehousing or data lakes? How should somebody really leverage data effectively?
Okay, and this is something I'll speak from my own experience for over 2 decades doing these things, and I will request you to add on to this, because I'm pretty sure this is an area we all learn on the daily basis. So my take is that I see data split into three categories, I would say. One is my transactional data, one is my master data, and then when I combine these two data, I get my analytical data. These are the 3 layers of data. I have to first work on these layers. I have to get these layers perfected. I have to identify all the sources of, normally people start, I want to have a data warehouse and I want to have a very good looking Tableau, ClickView, Power BI, that kind of beautiful dashboards. That is the start point. That is actually the end point, in my opinion. We should start from identifying the layers of the transactions, where all my transactions are happening, identify all the sources, identify all the sources of master data, and have very strong processes and governance processes, workflows around controlling your master data, and how the master data changes, who all are going to verify, the data steward team, all the stakeholders. There should be a centralized master data team in a business, which has representation from IT and has representation from the business who understand the correctness of data. Of course, it can be supplemented with the master data management platforms, which has rules, workflows. All those things can come from the technology perspective. But once you've done these 2 things, then you do the data engineering part. You check the data quality, you bring the data from the different systems into, let's say, a data lake or a centralized server, where you can clean, apply the rules, normalize the data, enrich the data quality, because data enrichment is very much important. Because if you start a journey, let's say last 5-6 years, you would already be having 10-15 years of data, which have been entered from various systems. The rules would be different. First name, middle name, last name, address being in 2 lines in one system, address being in 3 lines in one system, zip code, pin code problems. So you would have all those kind of problems. But without a good data quality, you are not going to get anything from the most impressive dashboard tools of the world. Once you've done this, then you get your data, into data warehouse, do the cubes, do the dimensions, get the right set of reports, accurate reports that people start trusting, because people don't take a lot of time to trust. Once that part is done, if people are trusting your report, they're not saying, oh, this system has this number, this system has that number. So you're trying to match that and you figure out that it was a rounding issue. You have to get past all those things. Once you get all the reports, analytics right, all the dimensions, slicing, dicing, everything right, now is the time to apply your, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and all the modern tools of the world to get the insights, to get the actionable insights that, this is the next best action to be done. That will come in the last, but normally we start with that the first, and we forget that we don't have a good quality data. And in my opinion, it won't be correct to say that 5 or 6 out of 10 projects will fail of this artificial intelligence driven actions by not having the right data quality. Your views, please, Sandeep.
No, absolutely. I think you said it almost pretty much on the dot. So all I'd say is that, it's very important to really have a very clear objective, right? Why do you want all this data and what do you want to do with it, right? Like you said, that it is actually the end point and not really the start point. So the outcome is something that you need to obviously define well in advance. Now, for organizations who may or may not have the right kind of data warehouses, data lakes already in place, have they lost everything on the planet? No, they haven't, right? So I think it's all about how do you effectively manage all the information that is there in your system of record, which is typically your enterprise systems, and your system of engagement, which is either in the human mind or in the various other systems that the humans actually engage with, which are not really typically enterprise systems, such as call center records or stuff like that. So I think you said it correctly that, hey, master data is going to be crucial. Segmentation is absolutely very, very important, and enrichment of data is very, very crucial. So you can start with simple warehousing and then kind of move to a data lake and so on and so forth in advance to the journey. But I think starting point is important. Understanding what you want to achieve with it is very important, and then really making sure that you have the right sources of data. And that source of data has to provide true data. If that data quality is poor, you'll never get to the end outcome that you're looking for. Okay, let's kind of quickly move to, this direct to consumer has become such a big buzzword, D2C, right? Everyone talks about it as the future of retail. I believe it's the present of retail, but what are your thoughts on this, and how are organizations leveraging automation specifically for direct to consumer?
You're right, Sandeep. I agree. Retail itself means direct to consumer. So, the word retail means there's nothing between consumer and a seller. Right. But yes, I think this D2C has become popular particularly over the pandemic, and where people established their own digital channels and started selling directly. Also, because there were a lot of disruptions and dependencies on the other channels, and you don't have control over the other channels as good as you have over your own channel. So that's where this D2C channel has become popular. The word has become popular, and there's a lot of startup buzz also around this particular concept. And there is no different mindset to be applied when you talk about set of technologies to be used for direct to consumer. It's same. It's I will again go back to my previous two keywords, the personalization and the frictionless. You have to make sure that people are able to discover what they want to buy very easily, and that will happen through a combination of course, a good UI UX, but again, personalization. Whatever you can in this cookieless world now, how much you can personalize, you have to depend on the transactional data, the past data, or the consumer journey on your platform. So what all consumer has looked for before buying or deciding not to buy, what was the dropout at what point in time. So you have to do a lot of product analytics to determine where your product needs improvement. And second part, of course, is the frictionless part. Like I said, if I'm used to getting cashback from a particular wallet company, it has to be there. I'll give you an example without naming any brand. One of the most important application that I use very frequently was not having one of the biggest wallet companies till last month, I would say. So yes, my experience was good, but I always felt this app is very good, but it's missing one very basic feature, that the wallet should be there, and it has happened now. But yeah, what people are looking for should be there. So these are obvious things. I mean, wallets or different ways of payments, or the easy way to find the, or rather, some companies do it very well. They auto apply all the promotions that you're eligible for. Some companies don't do that. So a consumer expects that if I'm eligible for that promotions, I should be getting it automatically. Or some companies even allow, which is very good thing, you complete the transaction, you can still apply the promotion, and whatever discount is there, you'll get in your wallet. So these are the things which will redefine the direct to consumer relationship or the experience.
I think great points over there. Sandeep, I think first of all, I must compliment you particularly, and of course your organization. I think the apps that you guys have from an order standpoint is really superb. It's a seamless one. To your point, it's fairly personalized and fairly frictionless. So very well done on that. I think kudos to you as the IT guy. I think not many people really appreciate IT's role over there, but I think I've been a CIO myself, so I know what goes behind the covers there. Mid-sized SME organizations are also trying to kind of really get into this whole space around how do you get into retailing and getting direct to consumer. They are trying to leverage a lot of technologies as well. As they kind of go forward, as a stalwart of this industry and someone who's done this over and over again, what would be your words of advice to them? How should they go about it? What should they, what are the pitfalls they should look out for? And what are the things that they should start with, right?
Okay, so here my advice would be don't jump blindly into this race. That's the first thing, because for a mid-sized company, there would be a lot of other limitations except for the financial thing. They would be limited in terms of their IT staff and a lot of other things. However, they can pick and choose specific areas and go deep into that. If consumer-facing area is very important for them, depending on what kind of business they are into. So if a consumer front area is very important for them, then they can invest, pick and choose and invest in certain areas. That yes, hey, I want to build a great app, a frictionless app. I want to increase my conversion. They should have very specific objectives. Hence, they can justify the investments also, and they can get rich rewards. But if they go all over, because they will not have that big IT team, they will start doing things in supply chain, they will start doing things in loyalty, they will start doing things on the mobile app, they will do PWA because everyone is doing. That would be a problem for them. They should be able to prioritize, and they should go incrementally, because that will generate a lot of confidence in the management. They will be able to get investment from the board, and they will be able to demonstrate successful projects in a linear fashion first, and then exponential fashion. And that, I think, will add to their growth as well.
Yeah, I mean, so just to summarize that point as well, you're basically saying start small, get quick wins, that will generate a lot more confidence, and then probably you may be ready for a big bang. But again, you advise a word of caution that don't just jump into it, right?
Yes, you try, find out where the largest problem is, and what is the size of price, and prioritize your things, and increase your management confidence, because you go all out and you fail all out, then you don't get any money for the future projects. So try to find the impact areas, try to find out of those impact areas which is having the biggest size of the price, demonstrate it, pick next to two next time. So go incremental. Go incremental, but I will say go incremental in first phase. Linear is first. Once you're confident, then you can go exponential, because then you'll be able to add team members. Because remember, every project we all believe that we've done and dusted, but you need to support that project. Once the project ends, you need to add some bandwidth in your support team as well. So slowly you have to take care of all these things. And then when a new system is introduced, it has to speak to all of the existing systems. So
Right.
the complexity also increases of your IT landscape. The other piece of advice would be look for the platforms which have ready to use features. They may not be as flexible as you want, but being an SME, you may not have that requirement from the day one. Day one would be that I want to have an app. So you can go to the platforms where you can, create
Right.
your apps very readily. And then as you evolve, as you understand your analytics, you reach a stage where, you're ready to create your own native apps for different OSs. You can take that call.
Great. Sandeep, I can go on and on with you, and I know you have a great experience. So, but I think in the interest of time, we need to kind of close and summarize. I greatly enjoyed my conversation with you. I'll just quickly summarize, what we heard from you for the benefit of the audience. So, in short, I think the enterprises are reinventing themselves, basically to adapt to the newer demands of consumers. And like you said, Sandeep, it's more around how do you personalize the experience, how do you make it frictionless. And the unfortunate reality is that, this would have anyways happened, but the pandemic has just accelerated it. So I don't know if I should say unfortunate or otherwise, but I guess from a customer perspective, getting those experiences early was damn good. And then emerging technology, particularly led by intelligent automation, are becoming one of the top levers being used by the enterprises. They are no longer used as in a tactical manner, but far more strategic to really reimagine operations, business models, redefine supply chain, adapt sales and marketing to the new normal, create unique experiences, to list a few, right? With this, I would essentially like to end with a very simple quote from my book, Automation Conundrum, where I've said that, the digital revolution is being led by intelligent automation and artificial intelligence. And this is not about a competition of man or woman versus machine, right? It is about how man or woman really leverages machine. And finally, in this entire journey, data is the new oil. It is basically a very, very crucial part of our journey going forward. Thank you, Sandeep Jabbal, for your valuable insights, and audiences for your time. I'm sure that listening to Sandeep Jabbal, you got a lot of insights on how you could potentially leverage intelligent automation in your enterprise. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thanks, Sandeep. Pleasure talking to you. Thanks for having me here.
Likewise.